Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to set up an OCaml programming environment inside of Emacs. So for those of you who don't know, OCaml is a pretty cool language. It's in kind of the functional family of languages. Maybe you can think of something like Haskell. Personally, I've been thinking of it a bit like the middle ground between Rust and something like Scheme or Lisp. So it's strongly typed like Rust, but it also comes with a garbage collector and really strong type inference, so you don't have to write a bunch of types most of the time. I've been going through this book called Real World OCaml. You can see, I think I'm about halfway through, but I haven't actually set up my environment yet or written any OCaml. So today I'm going to fix the environment issue, and then in a future video I'll start doing probably the advent of code problems from last year in OCaml. So stay on the lookout for that. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. So you can see on the screen right now I've actually kind of written out ahead of time what we need to do. I actually did this already where I installed opam from the package manager, but and opam is just I guess it is the OCaml package manager, and I installed it from my Arch package manager. So I did like pacman-s opam. So that should be set up. I guess I'll go ahead and pop open a shell. I'm trying to avoid popping open my bright white terminal. But let's go ahead and give this a shot. We'll do ocamlinit. So this is supposed to initialize the package repositories for opam itself, or for OCaml, so that we can install more packages through this. Okay, so it's asking right now if I want it to modify my bash profile. I guess I'm going to say yes. I don't particularly like that, but I'll do it. Okay, great. So I actually do want to look at that file. So let's take a quick look at opam, ocamlinit, init.sh. And it looks like it sources some more variables. So let's look at this one. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's just doing a bunch of this stuff. I guess this is basically, I think an OCaml or an opam switch is the same kind of thing as a conda environment. I don't really like that, but I'm going to try to go with how it works for now. So we hop back to our to-do, and we did this already. We can go ahead and run opam switch just to make sure that we've got the nice 5.0 version. Actually, if you follow the instructions from Real World OCaml, I think the compiler version they're using is like 4.13, something like that. So we're even more up to date than that. So that's done. Now we're going to go ahead and install some libraries. So I actually checked out OCaml probably 3 years ago now. And I was in this weird phase where I'd been writing Go, so I was really against languages that didn't have amazing standard libraries like Go does. So I didn't get very far with OCaml. I had to like read a file myself, and I was really upset about how hard it was. But if you install these libraries from OCaml, or from Jane Street, which is a company that uses OCaml a lot, you get a really rich standard library. So this time, I'm trying to learn OCaml. I'm actually going to use that. The two major libraries they have are core and base. I'm assuming core bench is just some additional benchmarking code. And then utop is going to be the nice OCaml REPL. So I'm sure we'll try that out as well. Clearly I have to install a lot of packages, which makes sense because base and core together provide a really rich standard library. Whereas OCaml itself doesn't come with much of a standard library. While that's running, we can go ahead and turn our attention to some other things. Now, they do suggest adding this to your ocaml-init file. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be read by utop or the regular OCaml REPL when you start it up. And this will just prevent you from having to write this stuff every time you start it. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll create an ocaml-init file, and I will paste this stuff into it. That's done. And then once this first opam installation finishes, we're going to install a few more packages. So we're going to install the LSP server, which we're going to try to integrate with LSP mode inside of Emacs. We're going to install ocaml-format, which is going to be our code formatter. I guess I kind of explained what these were over here. And then we're going to install dune, which is the build tool. It looks a little bit like cargo, but maybe not as much like cargo as I might like. But after that, we're just going to hop over into Emacs, and we have to install a couple packages there. So I'm actually not sure how to say this. I pronounce it in my head tuareg, something like that. This is the OCaml mode we'll be using in Emacs. And then I also saw suggestions online to install this ocaml-format package to interface with the opam ocaml-format package. So we'll install both of those inside of my Emacs config. And after that, we'll just take it for a test drive, see if we can write a little bit of ocaml. Okay, it looks like that finished. So I'll go ahead and get this next command started, and then we'll switch over to the Emacs config for a little while this runs. Okay, good. Dune is already installed, which I somewhat expected, but the other two packages are probably not. Now, as I mentioned, we'll hop over here and go into my init file. The first package we're going to use package tuareg, and we'll just ensure T for now. Yes. Well, actually, I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and add a hook. Tuareg mode. We will start LSP deferred. That way, the first time we open it up, it'll try to launch LSP mode. Now, I know most of my videos recently have been using eglot, but in my personal config, as you've seen in the videos where I walk through my whole config, I still am using LSP mode. So at some point, we'll probably try switching that to eglot as well. So there we go. Let's try finding temp try.ml. Okay, this is good. It looks like we've got this going. Good. So our LSP is actually not installed yet. So we'll try reverting that once it's done. The other package we want to install, I believe, is called ocamlformat. Ocamlformat. And both of these are available in Melpa. Okay. I'm not too worried about that. Now, one thing I am concerned about is whether or not these changes are actually going to take effect inside of this Emacs instance, or if I have to evaluate these environment variables. So we'll see how that goes. Ensure T, and I think the documentation suggests some information for binding this. I guess we'll go ahead and do it like we usually do. Bind, I guess I usually do F6, and they suggest binding ocaml format. So we'll see how that goes. Looks pretty good. Okay, we can hop back to our ML file, and let's actually see what tuareg has for us. Well, let's just see if we can get our LSP running. Okay, they don't seem to be installed yet. So after a little bit of troubleshooting, I realized that I had to add this to my config. This just points Emacs to this exec-path. And I guess in general, this should probably be read from the actual OCaml environment. But for now, I'm going to plan just to use the default switch and not mess with all these different virtual environments or anything. So if you're doing the same thing, this should also work for you. Now, if I hop over to my ML file, you'll see that the LSP is in fact running. And let's go ahead and see. Let's see if we can get some things running. So we'll see. What should we do? Fibonacci. Let's do factorial first. Factorial in b if n less than or equal to 1, then 1, else factorial n times factorial n minus 1. Oh, and we have to declare it recursive. So let's give that a shot. There we go. No, don't compile. uh, okay, there we go. We had to fix some parentheses there to actually put the n-1 around. Okay, ocaml-format is working. So let's see if I try doing this. Will ocaml-format fix it? No. Does ocaml-format do anything? Okay, in your init file, if you want ocaml-format to work outside of a project, you have to actually add this command. And I found this just from the ocaml-format information online. And there you can see that it actually inlines the whole function. So that's great. We have utop set up. We've got LSP mode set up. And we've confirmed that we can actually write a little bit of code here. I guess we should check if we can open base. So let's try open base. Not looking good. Okay, so to really test this out, I think we're going to need to do dune init. Dune init proj. And we'll just call it try ocaml. And then let's hop into try ocaml. I guess we go into a bin, and we've got main NML. So I'm going to try to compile this. We'll do dune build. I think we can also do dune exec. Is that right? Dune exec. Try ocaml. There we go. Okay, now our LSP you can see is still very upset. No config file found. Try calling dune build. Okay, and there we go. We've got hello world working. Let's try our factorial again. Like factorial of n, b, if n less than equal 1. Actually, let's try open base. And for this, we're going to actually have to update our dune file. Yeah, so we'll just hop into the dune file for this executable, and then we're going to try running dune build again. Okay, well there you have it. That was pretty painful. Clearly, I need to keep reading the book, and I need to have a lot more practice with OCaml itself. But at least we've got a pretty nice setup here. We, I think, have everything we need for Emacs to work, at least with the default opam switch. If I go back to... We've also got all of the general packages we needed. We've got opam. We initialized our database. We set up the switch. We got the core and bases in there somewhere. Jane Street libraries. We set up an ocaml-linit file. I don't actually like utop very much, but hopefully I'll get more accustomed to it. And then we installed our language server, ocaml-format, and dune, as well as, again, our Emacs config. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I do have one announcement before I go. The channel now has memberships available. So there's not a whole lot available from the membership so far, but if you'd like to become a channel member, please see the description down below or the buttons under the video. I think for the $2 a month tier, you'll get some loyalty badges and eventually some emotes once I put those together. And if you go for the $5 a month tier, you're going to get the badges and the emotes, of course, but you also get early access to my new videos. I've started scheduling these to go out in advance, so for channel members, I'm going to give you access as soon as I upload. You'll also get member shoutouts and likely some members-only videos, such as probably full cuts of the videos like this, where I took a few cuts to try to adjust some things and make it more presentable. So if you're interested in seeing the whole uncut footage, become a member today. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.